This is the Joe Gaither Show on BamaCentral.com.
Good morning, Tuscaloosa. Good morning, Tuscaloosa. Internet world. West Alabama, how we doing today on a Monday? It's the first Monday in March. It's the Joe Gaither Show on BamaCentral, BamaCentral.com. Hope you and yours are doing well, having a great start to your month of March. It's a victorious Monday. What a weekend that was in Alabama athletics. We're going to talk about that on the Joe Gaither Show on BamaCentral, on the BamaCentral YouTube channel, on the BamaCentral Facebook page. You're listening to us on Apple Podcast, Amazon, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. You can find the Joe Gaither Show on BamaCentral. We're having a lot of fun here in the Derek Daniel State Farm Studios with our friend Theo Fernandez. Make sure you follow Theo at Theo Fernandez _. Call Derek Daniel for all of your insurance needs at 205-758-3391. Like a good neighbor, Derek Daniel is there. We appreciate Derek for hosting the show, and we appreciate Purple Turtle Roofing for sponsoring the show as well. Visit them online at roofturtle.com for all of your roofing needs. You can check out their products and services and see all their brand new roofs that they have redone and all the problems that they've taken care of at roofturtle.com. Make sure that you have the peace of mind that you deserve in your home today by calling Purple Turtle Roofing at 877-787-6635. So we're going to have a lot of fun today talking about Alabama's victory over Tennessee, 71-69. Didn't lead until the last 25, 30 seconds. LeBaron Philon had zero. LeBaron Philon gave my allowance to my mama. Isn't that what it is? Had zero. LeBaron Philon gave my allowance to my mama, something like that.
Now I give allowances.
Now I give, what's the line, Theo?
Had zero LeBaron Philon. Now I give allowances to my mom.
There we go. As he gave some allowance to Tennessee, finally ending the 5-game losing streak for Alabama against the Tennessee Vols, and really putting Alabama in a great spot for this next for 2 weeks from now's SEC tournament, as Alabama has clinched a top 4 seed. Now, will it be 2, 3, or 4 is kind of up in the air, but really Alabama's clinched a top 4 seed, really looking at 2 and 3 as the season is down to 2 more games. So we'll talk about Alabama basketball's victory over Tennessee on Saturday. You can jump in on the comments section or leave us a voicemail. Oh, Hunter did leave me a voicemail. So once I get you rolling, I'll load that up here. So you can leave us a voicemail at 205-462-7340, extension 800 if you want to have your voice be a part of the show. I'm sure Hunter is reacting to Alabama's big old win in Knoxville. Gritty win. Still can't get a defensive rebound to save your life, but the guys were able to get it done fighting through quicksand. And so we'll talk about the Alabama basketball game here in just a moment. We'll talk about Alabama baseball going to Frisco, Texas, and going 2-1, particularly beating Oregon State. But Theo did predict a 2-1 weekend, so he's all over the baseball program. We'll talk about that, and we'll talk about the NFL Combine as guys ran the 40. Did I see 5.22 for Caden Proctor? Whew.
Was that the time?
I saw a bunch of times.
I thought it was 4.96.
Was that the next time? Was that the second?
I definitely saw it. Let's look into that.
The second run? Okay, so we'll talk about everybody who ran the 40-yard dash. Ty Simpson, his arm looked good on air against no pass rush. His arm definitely looked lively and up there in Indianapolis. So we'll talk about performances at the Combine as well. So that's going to be the game plan for the day. We hope you jump in and join us on your favorite listening or viewing platform. Theo, good morning, sir. How was the weekend?
It was a great weekend. Watched a lot of Alabama baseball, covering that 3-game series. And Keith Connell on the comments, Bama needs to find some pitching in the worst kind of way. And you would be correct when you say that, Keith. We'll talk more about baseball in just a minute as Alabama wins the Frisco Classic, but kind of a damper on the weekend, losing the last game. Fun weekend, though. Got to catch Tennessee, got to get filled in on it after because Oregon State was going on the whole time, but it was a great time.
Yeah, you didn't have any drama in your Oregon State game, did you?
That would be about as far from the truth as possible, Joe.
Yeah, so we'll get into that here in just a minute, but we'll start with basketball. Keith, good morning. Good to see you. Thanks so much for jumping in the comments. We'll get some baseball here in just a second as Theo is all over the Frisco Classic. Alabama 71-69, 69 for the Tennessee Vols. And what a game that it was for a long time. I mean, I'm sitting there at the house with Hunter Cyber, and he was covering things for us at BamaCentral, as was I. We both had our laptops out watching the game, and he comes out of his little office at halftime, and oh man, I don't think it's going to look good for Alabama. No, it's not looking good for Alabama. Pretty ugly start, down 28-40 at halftime. Really, really shooting the ball pretty poorly and not rebounding the ball at all in the first half. Only 38%, or only you were 38% from the 3-point line in the first half, 5 of 13. So not really that bad, but 10 of 27, not real, but you couldn't get enough shots. You couldn't get enough shots against the Tennessee defense. It took Alabama every bit of effort. I mean, Coach Oates looked like he was sweating at the end of the game in his post-game press conference. It took so much effort just to generate offense. Alabama didn't get on the scoreboard until they subbed LeBaron Philon into the game for the first time, as he did not start nursing what we found out is a groin injury that has been kind of nagging him throughout the season. But he comes in, he bangs a 3-point shot, and it becomes the LeBaron Philon show. Basically, the rest of the game, LeBaron Philon ending with 23 points, one of three from the 3-point line. So that first 3-pointer that he made was the only one that he made. 4 of 5 from the free throw line. So he's 9 of 14 from the field. So really getting it done, and of course hitting him with the mid-range dagger, shaking his head at JP Estrella is everything you want to see from LeBaron Philon. I mean, when he is almost going to the NBA draft last year, and then when he returns, and Coach Oates is hyping him up as, he was almost an NBA draft pick, but he came back to Alabama, and he wants to lead Alabama to a national championship and become a lottery pick, become a first rounder. I was like, okay, some of that stuff is possible. You can become a lottery pick if you do X, Y, and Z. If you become a killer and show some killer instinct, if you become a real offensive engine for this team. I didn't really see. I mean, he was a good player as a freshman for sure, but was he a lottery pick type player? No, he was. That guy's got a lot of skill, but we want to see more from him. I think we have been talking about it, Theo and I, for 4 weeks now, 3-4 weeks now, about the Alabama offense not looking as deliberate with LeBaron leading the offense rather than Aiden Holloway. I've really enjoyed watching Aiden Holloway move the basketball around, but you saw it against Tennessee. Aiden was fine. I mean, Hayden, 12 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists. He was fine, but had 2 turnovers. I don't think he was great against the Tennessee physicality. I thought LeBaron Philon came into the game and said, I can handle this physicality. I'll draw some fouls, and I can handle the physicality and get the offense going. Now, I think the rest of the team struggled against Tennessee's defense. I think it was just like playing in a bunch of quicksand, like playing in a bunch of mud on the Alabama offensive end. And then on the defensive end, I thought Alabama's defense, the actual on-ball defense and the actual defense was fine, defending shots and staying in front of their man and contesting shots. I thought that was fine, but as soon as the ball went up, ball goes up, bounces off the rim, and it is even 1 or 2 Alabama guys going up for a rebound, getting out-rebounded by Jalen Carey, getting out-rebounded by Felix Akpara, really, really struggling on the glass for Alabama. So it wasn't like the defense was that bad, but you couldn't end the possession doesn't end until you get the defensive rebound. Right. And so you gave Tennessee 20-something extra shots in the game. Alabama took 56 field goals. Tennessee took 78, 22 extra shots, and you were still able to win the game 71-69. The rebounding continues to be a problem, but LeBaron Philon shows just what his character is made of, and a lot of the growth that we have wanted to see out of LeBaron this past weekend. Really taking it on himself. Up is the last shot of the game. I'm going to get myself into a good matchup and basically win the game for Alabama. I was extremely impressed, and you guys know I'm from Chattanooga, so anytime Alabama beats Tennessee, I get a little more excited. I love that win very much. Losing 5 in a row was pretty disgusting to me. So going to bed on Saturday night with very, very good vibes, Theo.
Yeah, Joe, that was just a gutsy performance from Phylon, like you talked about. I mean, that was an NBA lottery pick type of performance. That was a, wow, this guy can lead an offense. This guy can excel in numerous aspects of an offensive game plan. And then when you add in the injury, right, and the playing through that factor, makes it even more impressive. I think my biggest note from this game is just the way that LeBaron and Aiden played together, right? You look at Holloway kind of reverted back to a particular role, right? He came in as the shooter, right? And he had that mid-range take in the final couple minutes, which kind of catches everyone off guard, right? Wow, Aiden Holloway taking that shot. It's a similar shot to the one he hit against A&M down the stretch, just from the other end and not falling down, but it's a similar spot on the court. So we've seen him take those in the big moments, but Holloway, Reitzel, and Phylon combined 22 of 31 from the field, combining 3 players for 60 of your 71 points. That's 84% of your scoring output from 3 players. I mean, it's just those guys had to be just about perfect, right? There was no margin for error in a game where you can't grab rebounds like that. And I think this game just kind of speaks to the whole idea, and an idea that we've talked about a bunch this season. On a bad night, Alabama can still beat anyone due to their offensive firepower. This was a prime example of that, right? Amari Allen, Grant Hill goes out with one of the worst games of his young career. It was just kind of a struggle for him with getting rebounds, it was 1 of 7 from the field. You didn't get that kind of spark plug from London Jemison. Sherrell was kind of fighting for his life on both sides all game, and he tried. I mean, and he had some solid moments, right? But he was fighting. He was battling. He wasn't in a position to score a bunch of points. And when you just have a night where everyone else is down, you have those guys that can step up. And it was overall not the most satisfying performance, right? You had the offensive firepower to get the job done, and that is always going to be something that you have on a Nate Oates team, right? And this is an example of that.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. When you said Aiden Terrell fighting for his life, it triggered me the post game press conference comments from Nate Oates calling Aiden Terrell the MVP of this game. The MVP of this game was 6 points, and 8 rebounds. 8 rebounds in a game where you were out rebounded 47-30.
Yeah.
And you were out rebounded by 17 rebounds. They ended up with 22 defensive rebounds, 25 offensive rebounds for the Tennessee Vols. And Aiden Terrell is your MVP of the game because he ended up leading your team with 8 rebounds. I think that just shows you, I mean, we've talked about it now for 3 since the Charles Bediako decision that Aiden Terrell is the most important player because you take him off the floor. I mean, yeah, Noah Williamson did get some playing time, but he was more heavily featured in the post-game video holding the speaker as they were playing "Walk in Your Trap, Take Over Your Trap" or whatever is it? Take over your trap, walk in your trap. He's in there bouncing, and it's like, oh, you got more FaceTime on the post-game video than you did while you actually played. He played 7 minutes of the game. Noah Williamson, 2 rebounds, 1 foul.
2 rebounds in 7 minutes is a solid ratio.
Yeah, good
in
stuff.
A game like
good
that,
stuff.
Right?
Great
We're
job.
happy with that for Noah.
So yeah, Aiden Terrell becomes like your most important one because, of course, is it LeBaron? Because LeBaron takes on the offense for himself, takes the offense on when everybody else was kind of struggling because you were, playing through the Tennessee physicality and Rick Barnes and Tennessee's strategy is we're just going to foul every single time, every screen. We're gonna foul every. They're holding, they're grabbing, they're not letting any free range of motion. The officials surely can't call them all. is Tennessee's defensive strategy. So you throw LeBaron in there, and he becomes the elevated playmaker that you expected him to be, or that you've wanted him to be. And he's been great this year. He's been really good this year. We'll say that he's been really good this year. But this Saturday he flirted with great. Honestly,
yes, he did. Joe, speaking of it, and I guess I never picked up on this, with having not watched the game in real time. There were 21 combined free throws. There was, this is kind of crazy. I mean, yeah, Sherelle goes 4 for 4. Reitzel 3 for 4. Philon 4 or 5. That's it. Only 3 players on Alabama take free throws, and then you go on the Tennessee side, and they're 5 of 8 on the game. Only 2 players on that team even took a shot from the line.
That is a statistic that favors the Tennessee Vols.
Yeah, I mean that is, and I guess looking at this, like with how much LeBaron was attacking, you'd hope he gets to the line a little more, but that is, how does nobody else on this Alabama team, with everything you're doing offensively, how does Aiden Holloway not get to the line at all? How does Amari Allen not, fight inside, and you take, there's 1 of 3 on 2-pointers, you're not getting fouled on any. Wow. Yeah, that's something that hadn't even, I guess, struck me until right now. I'm just kind of realizing this.
So Alabama gets a huge win,
Yes.
and really, I think that you covered the game basically by highlighting Tennessee's prowess on the offensive boards, and Nate talked about it before the matchup, as Tennessee is one of the best offensive rebounding teams of the last 25 years, is what he said in his pregame press conference. So they excel right in that area, as I guess you were expecting. You made enough 3-point shots to get yourself over the hump. 10 of 27. So really, you took more 3-pointers than you have in the last handful of Tennessee games. So you were able to generate more threes than you have against the Vols lately, and you're able to get to the mid range. I mean, you ended up hitting a couple of mid range jump shots. I'm looking at the shot chart right here. I would count 1, 2, 3. I'd count about 3 of these shots. LeBaron Philon 13-footer. I've got Latrell Reitzel 12-footer. I got Aiden Holloway the 10-footer. That's the one to tie the game. And then LeBaron, I've got LeBaron on an 8-footer. I've got a driving layup. A couple of 8-footers from LeBaron as well. So about 4 or 5 mid-range shots that you mix in there strategically. And I think that this is a huge win for Alabama, because you've got Georgia and Auburn in the next 2 games, and oh boy, you better not be losing to Georgia. And the Auburn game is going to be extremely contested, but you should be better than Auburn. Playing at home in front of a friendly crowd, I think that will go well for you as well, and that should lock you up a number 2 seed in the SEC tournament, and lead you to not playing Florida until Sunday, if you get there in Nashville.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, you're now looking at the prospect of, we should enter the SEC tournament on a 10-game win streak. You had told me that on February 1st after you lost to Florida. I would have laughed in your face. It is impressive in so many regards. And yes, you had a bunch of easier games in there, but the Arkansas win and this game in Knoxville and the way you're able to fight, it is objectively impressive what this team has been able to do. Hey, and national media has been picking up on it, right? You've seen I think it's the first time in a while I've seen people talk and post about Alabama without referencing the Charles Bediako situation. So, tide's turning.
Well, they're starting to talk about it because Alabama is starting to flirt with a number 3 seed in the NCAA tournament. If you get a number 3 seed in the NCAA tournament, then you're not running into the 1 seed in said bracket until the Elite 8.
Well, you'd still have to, and it gives, I think the better part of that is it gives you a much easier second round matchup.
Certainly.
That is the difference between the 5 and the 6 line, right? That is,
certainly,
you're outside of the top 25. You're dealing with, teams that are, it's where you start to, I think, see a more noticeable dip in the quality of teams you're playing. Not that there aren't good teams, right? But things do get a lot easier as you get there.
So, Theo, are you feeling a little dangerous with your Alabama's not going to make the Sweet 16 take at this point, or is it just because of the teams that they have played? And look, they got up for Tennessee, and Tennessee let this one slip.
No, let me, like, even if you guys go back and watch my Sweet 16 video, I acknowledge the possibility that this team has to break through and live up to its really high ceiling. That still exists. If I was filling out a bracket today, and look, obviously, I'm not going to get. It depends on matchups, right? If Alabama gets a great draw in the NCAA tournament, I will then back off on my take. But I think there is a very, very strong likelihood that Alabama is matched up against a team in March that is built to take advantage of the Tide's weaknesses. You are not going to get out rebounded by 17 and win a game in March Madness. You are not. And even through this win streak, right, we've still seen so many of the flaws of this team, right? And we've seen oh man, if Aiden Sherrill picks up a couple fouls, I don't know how this team is going to find a way to hang. Like, you see stuff like that all the time. There's a lot of reasons that this team could still bow out early. So, as impressed as I am, you will not get any reversal of the take from me until at least we get an actual tournament draw. Because I still think whether you're a 4, whether you're a 3, whether you win the SEC tournament and get yourself a 2 seed, like there are going to be teams in March that will match up very well against you. And until I see who those teams are, I'm standing by what I've said.
Well, it all starts with the rebounding. If you've got 2 bigs, then you're up on Alabama on the offensive glass, and that will give you extra shots, and that will force Alabama to play more efficiently on offense, not turn the ball over, make your own shots on the offensive end, and put more pressure on you, Alabama, defensively. So, yeah, all it takes is having 2 bigs.
Yes. That'll do a lot of damage. And I do think that a lot of these Big Ten teams, I watched 2 Big Ten games yesterday while I was, working out, saw an elite Purdue team, right? A team that went in and beat us, and go down to the wire and lose to Ohio State, just get outplayed by a team that was able to exploit them a little and hang with them inside, and then watching Michigan State, Iowa. Like, a lot of those Big Ten squads, man, they're built well, and they have the bigs that I think could really make Alabama pay. And it's hard. It's impossible to obviously forecast who you're going up against, but even like that Texas Tech team, right? You lose your star in top, and you still have a great squad built all around. Like, that's an example of a team that I think could probably come in and take down Alabama in Portland or wherever, the Tide is playing. Like, it all depends on the matchups. And 2 weeks from right now, we're going to have a bracket, Joe. I'm excited about that. I can't wait.
Oh, and speaking of, I need to put this out here. We will be doing a bracket challenge as we've done the last couple of years. This year, I at least have commitments from Chuck's Fish right here in Tuscaloosa and 5 right here in Tuscaloosa. 2 $50 gift cards will be in the pot at least. I'm still kind of crowdsourcing more prizes for, I know last year I threw my own money into the pot as kind of an incentive. Every player that joined, I would raise the pot by a quarter, by $1, whatever it was. We had a pretty good number. So if you are looking to win yourself some gift cards to some nice restaurants in Tuscaloosa, be looking for our link to join our bracket challenge. The Joe Gaither Show on BamaCentral will have our bracket challenge, and we'll see if we can't feed you guys through March Madness.
Hey, don't forget the other prize for it, right?
What's that?
Tell me. The winner gets to come on the show for an episode.
Oh, if they want, you know what? Let's do that. If you if you win, you can come on the show. We'll send you the link, and you can gloat about how much college basketball that you know as well.
I mean, I would love the opportunity to get to just tell me and Joe about how you know ball more than us.
Exactly. Give the listener and the competitor that opportunity. Let's go to the voicemail line before we turn away from basketball. I've got one more basketball topic that's not specific to the Alabama-Tennessee game, but it is related to Alabama. But I want to go to it after we play our voicemail. You can call the voicemail line at 205-462-7340, extension 800. Here is Hunter Brantley after the victory over Tennessee.
Damn. Who's the best guard in the country, baby? Who is it? Who's the best point guard in the country? Tell me. Tell me who it is. Byline. That's who it is, man. That's who it is. All day, every day, even twice on Sunday. Man, dude, I'm going to be honest with both of y'all. I did not think we had a chance in heck to win this game at halftime. I saw Nate Ament go down, and it seemed like Tennessee was playing better without him in the game. He came back in the second half. I guess he wasn't able to go. Hate to see that for him. Talented player. A lot of credit to Latrell Wrightsell, however. He was on fire from three. He couldn't miss. One of his best shooting games of the season. Sherelle played tough. I like how Oates credited him after the game, saying he was the MVP. He really was the unsung hero of this game. And then, man, I already said it, Phylon, man. Beast, dog, goat, king, whatever adjective you want to say to describe him. He's the best in the world, man. Lottery pick loading. I'm so glad we won this game. So now I can say how god awful the officials were, man. It was the most one-sided officiating I've ever seen this whole season watching Alabama play. If the ball handler for Alabama got a single step on the Tennessee defender, they would hand check and nothing would be called. Nothing. And Rick Barnes was the one complaining about it. He was the one complaining to the rest. I'm like, dude, you are getting away with everything, man. You are getting away with everything. Not only that, you're freaking elbowing us in the gut for a rebound. They're letting you do whatever they want. Whatever you want to do, Tennessee's able to do it. Gutsy win. Gutsy freaking win, guys.
I think Hunter just nailed it right there with a huge gutsy win as his assessment. But I think that's just how Tennessee plays. We're going to foul every time, and we're going to make the officials just get tired of blowing their whistle.
Yeah, and I think we talked about on Friday how we're going to walk away from that game a little upset with the pace and the style of basketball that was played. Credit to Rick Barnes. Like that is his system, and that is how they play basketball. And hey, it's worked more times than not against Nate Oates.
All right, Theo, I got one more basketball conversation that I want to have with you before we transition to the Frisco Classic and the NFL Combine. I want you to just put on your NCAA selection committee hat, right? And I want to throw two resumes at you, and I wanted you to kind of pick one of these. Which one of these teams gets an at-large bid in the NCAA tournament?
Yeah, I think I know where we're going here.
One team has a record of 15-13, and they are number 39 in the net. They're 5-11 in quad 1 games, or 2-2 in quad 2 games. Undefeated in quad 3 and 4, 8-0, 2 quad 3 wins and 6 quad 4 wins. So they're 8-0 in 3 and 4 games. So they're 15-13. They're not in the top 4 of their conference standings. Let's see, where are they actually in the conference standings, so we can make this really, really nice and even, so you can get a solid comparison. They are. Let me scroll all the way down to the league that I'm talking about. Standings. Thank you. Because where are they? Are they at 8? I think they are. They're at 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. They're 11th in their league. They're 15-13. They're ranked 39th in the net, and they're 11th in their league. They're 5-11 in quad 1 games. And aren't they on a pretty nice little losing streak? I think they are. They are. Oh, yeah. They have lost 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of their last 8 games.
Man, I wish I knew who you were talking about.
All right. That's Team A. Yeah. Team B is ranked 49th in the net. Or excuse me, 51st in the net. 51st in the net. They're 29-0. They're number 1 in their conference. 16-0 in their conference. But they haven't played a single quad 1 game. They're 0-0 in quad 1 games. They're 1-0 in quad 2 games, beating the mighty Akron Zips at home. They're 9-0 in quad 3, and they've played 16 quad 4 games. Which team is in?
Which team is in? This comment, if you guys can't tell, it's Auburn and then Miami of Ohio as the two teams. And Bruce Pearl's comments infuriated me.
It's ridiculous.
It was. First of all, let's not forget that Bruce Pearl walked away from a basketball team 2.5 weeks or whatever before the start of the season to make sure that none of his players left the program before his son took over, only for his son to take a team from number 1 in the country at one point the year before to
15-13.
Yeah. To now you're going to be playing in the NIT.
Oh, wait. They're not going to be in the play. Come on. They're an at-large team.
If Miami of Ohio loses to Akron, Akron is a very good mid-major team.
Sure.
If Miami of Ohio loses to Akron in the MAC championship and does not get in,
that's criminal.
I think that you've broken the system officially. Why are we turning college basketball into college football? Why do we have to push and shill for all of these? Oh, well, they almost went 500 in a Power 4 conference. They need to be in March Madness. Get out of here. That is everything that is wrong with sports right now. Get out. First of all, let's just get this clear. Miami of Ohio, you know why they haven't played a quad 1 game? Because nobody would schedule them. Because we've created a system where these Power 4 schools can just go out and, all that matters is that we don't have a bad loss.
Are the Power 4 teams colluding against the lower level top end teams?
Yes, you wonder why all of these big mid-majors can't play a game? Nobody will schedule them. Your best bet is to get an invite to one of these like Feast Week invitationals, right? And there you'll have a chance to play someone good on a neutral site. But like if you ever look at the schedules of like a Dayton or these A10 schools or the really good mid-majors, like I guess the example I'll use is Alabama, right? Alabama has gone out and played mid-majors on the road, right? Something almost nobody does. You went to North Dakota on that trip, right? If you look at the schedule, well, Alabama isn't playing those teams in the middle. Yeah, we'll go play a Summit League school at North Dakota in a game where, we're obviously not going to lose that. We'll go and play, obviously, power schools there on the road, right? If you look at Alabama's non-conference schedule, they played Memphis a few years ago. Memphis is a major program. Like that rises to the level. You played, who do you play? South Alabama a few years ago in Mobile. That's the low level. When you get in that middle where you're a team that has a shot at being like a tournament, contender, right? You're either an elite mid-major program that could legitimately pull off an upset, or you're in a conference like the A10. You have a really, really hard time finding a team that will play you. Even like, because obviously the dynamics of it are really weird because they obviously won't go to your gym. That's a given. They won't, if they're looking for buy games, they're not going to pay you to come in and potentially beat them on the home court. No, you're going to pay a lower level school. Miami of Ohio contacted so many, like a number of Power 4 programs trying to find games. They've done it for a while. And no, people don't want to go play Travis Steele's program. So that's why Miami of Ohio has played. Obviously, the MAC schedule has a bunch of Q3s, Q4s, but that's why they haven't played any Q1 games. Because we've allowed these Power 4 programs to, we can coast through. We can coast through the non-conference schedule, right? And when I say coast through, I mean you're only going to play other P4s or really bad schools that you have no shot at losing to. because we've created a system where losing to a good team helps your resume. 5-11 in quad one games. Are you serious? Are you? That is a joke. That is pathetic. You lost 2/3 of your Q1 games and you want to be included in the tournament. You deserve to be included in the tournament because, look at all the good teams we've played. Win your games. Win your basketball games. Oh, and
we beat Georgia on the road.
Yeah, it is pathetic.
All right, so let's land. I'm loving where you're coming from, but let's land the conversation to this coming Saturday. Alabama's taking on Auburn right there in Coleman Coliseum. Auburn has LSU first. If Auburn beats LSU, which they probably should, because LSU's that stinky. If Auburn beats LSU and then comes to Coleman Coliseum, can they get into the NCAA tournament with a victory over Alabama? Will the one win over Alabama on the road supersede Miami of Ohio's prospective 30-0 schedule?
All you have to do, you have to beat LSU, you beat Alabama, and then you win your game against, I guess it would probably be, well, no, because if you get, top 10 seed in the SEC, you don't play in the opening day, right?
Believe so.
So
It's the top 4 get the double bye. The next 4, so it's 8. So it's 5, 6, 7, and 8 get the single bye.
So you're gonna play in the first round regardless. So if Auburn goes in as the 10 seed, right, and you get to play, you're gonna play either LSU. I guess you're gonna play either LSU, Mississippi State, or South Carolina in your opening round game in the SEC. As long as you win that game and then lose to the actual good SEC team you play, you're in. You have to beat 2 SEC bottom feeders in Alabama. That is all you have to do after this horrendous train wreck of a season.
Yeah, currently they are on the 11 line, and they're going to be playing Ole Miss in that first game. If they are to win, they will be playing, looks like, Tennessee on Thursday and then Arkansas on Friday.
And that'll completely move around, though, because
everything's going to flip a little bit.
In this world where they win 2 games to end the season, it would completely.
They'll move up from 11.
10 or 9, yeah.
And
you'll get a real easy matchup in the first. Yeah, Auburn has a very clear path to March Madness.
So 3-0 for Auburn, and then 3-0 for Auburn, and they're in?
Yeah.
Well, 3-1, 3-1 finish,
and then you can get embarrassed by the good SEC team you play at that point, but it doesn't matter because you've won 3 games and beaten Alabama.
If Miami of Ohio gets left out, that's gonna create some problems for me.
It will. And look, I mean, Akron would be about a 13 seed if they won the conference. Like, at a certain point, it's why do we play these games if you can go undefeated and potentially miss the tournament? Like, let's remember, I mean, first of all, how few schools have ever put together a run like this. The last one to do it at the mid-major level was Wichita State, right? Playing in the Missouri Valley at the time. They were a 1 seed. And yes, they had a slightly stronger schedule than Miami of Ohio. The fact that Miami of Ohio isn't at least on the 7 line is a joke. And let me be clear. I think Miami of Ohio will lose early. I've watched them play a lot of basketball. They have a lot of holes as a team, and they're going to be that trendy pick where everyone tries to pick them to go far, and they probably lose in the first 2 rounds. I hope I'm wrong. I hope they go on a fun run, but I think that Miami of Ohio will struggle. But it does not matter. You have won all of your games. You've done everything you were supposed to do. Leaving an undefeated team or leaving a 1-loss team out would be an absolute travesty to the sport. And there are so many mid-majors just across the board who've put together really, really good seasons who are getting talked about as, missing the tournament. It's sad to see. Just like this is the best part about March Madness. Why don't we get this? I think all the fans get it. But instead, we have to listen to all these big talking heads saying, "Oh man, we need an 80-team tournament."
Well, does
so we can get
Auburn
more SEC
does
teams
Auburn's
in.
brand, and I mean we're talking about it because it's Auburn, but it really does Power 4 team XYZ's brand really bring you in more revenue than a one-loss, an undefeated, a two-loss Miami of Ohio team would. Like they're the same. They're the exact same. Like revenue wise, of course the Auburn fans are going to watch their Auburn game, right? And of course the Miami of Ohio fans would have watched their game as well. But I think the neutral fan is going to be much more into, this team went undefeated in the regular season. They just missed, or they got in the at-large bid because they lost by 2 points in the conference tournament, and so they're in here at 29-1, whatever the record is actually going to end up being. Like I think I would rather as a neutral fan be trying to watch the team that was 29-1. Can they actually compete? I'm going to turn that game on TNT, True TV, TBS, whatever the network is. You can put that one on CBS, on the marquee TV network. I think it makes more money to have the Miami of Ohio in because of the story.
Well, the problem across the board with all these mid-majors is that you don't promote them at all. So Miami of Ohio, I'd say about the beginning of February is when you first started seeing, and now you're seeing a post every time they win a game, right? And now we're getting plugged into the story. But it took a really long time. And we're hearing about Auburn, and we're hearing about the Power 4 programs, but you're not hyping up these really good mid-majors. You have to go to the fringe corners of, the sickos college basketball pages just to find out about them. I'm very plugged in there. I love college basketball. I'm plugged into the mid-majors, but the average fan, very understandably so, is not. You're getting your news and you're getting your updates from the big sources, and the big sources don't take the time or don't care enough to promote the mid-majors. So it's just a joke, man.
Absolutely. So that was really all I wanted to get into with college basketball today. Alabama's victory over Tennessee and this Miami of Ohio story, particularly as it relates to Bruce Pearl hyping up his own his son's team. And of course, you should be on your son's side. You should, but have a little you're also a national analyst. You should be a little more objective here, sir. A little bit. We'll see. All right, Theo, let's turn our attention to baseball. But before we do, we want to remind everybody the program is brought to you by Purple Turtle Roofing. We're not just another contractor. We're your neighbor and your advocate when it comes to protecting your home or business. With years of hands-on experience, top-tier certification, and a commitment to excellence, we've built a reputation as Alabama's go-to roofing solution. We specialize in residential roofing, commercial roofing, emergency storm repairs, full-on roof replacements, insurance claim support, and more. Check them out online at roofturtle.com. You can see all their products and services. It doesn't matter if you have a metal roof or a shingle roof. They'll come out, give you a free roof inspection, make sure there's no trouble spots, make sure there's no cracks, no leaks, no problems in your roof, and they'll give you the peace of mind that you deserve. So check them out online today at roofturtle.com. Purple Turtle Roofing with heart, built to last. All right, we're here in the Derek Daniel State Farm Studios with our friend Theo Fernandez, and I want to turn our attention here to Alabama baseball as the Crimson Tide went 2-1 out in Frisco, Texas, beating Iowa 12-2, beating Oregon State 8-7, but losing the Sunday game to Houston 8-2. Theo, you watched all of the baseball this week, and every inning, every pitch. What did you make of the Crimson Tide? What are some of your big takeaways?
Well, successful weekend overall, right? I came in saying I thought that we were looking at a 2-1 weekend with a loss to Oregon State. Alabama had just a phenomenal performance, a thrilling win against the Beavers. I thought overall, and I'm writing my kind of weekend observations right now. I've been doing it this morning, and at the end, I'm giving the team a grade for the weekend, and I think I'm going to land at a B+ for the grade because overall, you did just some really good stuff. First of all, Alabama goes out, just slugs Iowa off the diamond, 12-2 win. Justin LeBron ices it with a grand slam late. Luke Vaughn hits big homer. Alabama's bats the first two games were just plugged in. You went up against a really, really good pitcher in Ethan Kleinschmidt for
Kleinschmidt.
And he's an all-American level guy. He's going to be a high-end pro pitcher. They got him out of the game. I believe it was after 3.2. I think they pulled him in the fourth because Alabama was just on him. I mean, you were hitting homers left and right. Jason Torres did some real nice things this weekend. He needs to be a consistent hitter. You see, he's dropped down to the 6 hole. He's flirting with the Mendoza line. He's really got to just, be the guy Alabama thought he was going to be. And he's got 2 homers on the year now. Brady Neal hit 1 too. Neal's been great batting. The bats were there the first 2 nights. And obviously you're going to have a down night once in a while. Houston's starter, Hoffman, on Sunday, pitched just a phenomenal game. This guy was lights out, and I don't think anyone expected him to be dealing like that. So it happens, right? It's baseball. You're going to have a night like that. But overall, Alabama winning a Frisco Classic title. That's big, man. That is, let's not get ahead of ourselves, but the team that won it last year was lifting a trophy in Omaha.
What?
2 months later, LSU wins the Frisco Classic last year. I'm impressed with what I saw from Alabama, especially you look at that 9th inning, right? Against Oregon State. You've got an 8-5 lead. First of all, you had a 6-0 lead against the Beavers, and they really fought back. They made it 6-5. You went out and you responded offensively. You got 2 insurance runs. You had a couple shutout innings to kind of quell the comeback. You showed fight there, and then you enter the 9th, and just everything starts crumbling, right? They load the bases, nobody out. They've cut it to 8-7. Peyton Steele delivers one of the best throws you're going to see. From right, just straight home, no cutoff man, right into the glove of Brady Neal, who didn't even have to move to apply the tack. That turns 2, and then you get the grounder a minute later, and that really just showed the response to adversity for the team. Moments before the Peyton Steele throw, Justin LeBron had a routine double play ball hit right at him. Could not make the play, just couldn't field the ball. And then after the Peyton Steele throw, right? So you've got 2 outs. The bases are you've got guys on second and third, right? You've got the winning run at second, and the ball's hit again. You loaded the bases. You intentionally walked the guys to create a force, and LeBron goes to field the ball, and it takes a really, really weird hop into his glove, and he bobbles it yet again, is able to get it out to Brennan Holt at second, end the game. LeBron, moments are going to happen like that, and I'd rather them happen now than in a regional where you go 0-2 in Hattiesburg. And I guess,
let's go. Yeah, let's go. I want to go into Keith's comment from earlier in the show. Keith,
this was the story of Sunday.
Right. So Keith's comment, if you didn't see it from earlier in the show, is Bama needs to find some pitching in the worst kind of way. What was the deal with the pitching this weekend, Theo?
Well, it's been a rough week for Evan Steckmesser, the Samford transfer who was brought in. Gave up 7 earned runs in under an inning of work over the weekend combined with Tuesday and today. Just came in and got, frankly, blown up, man. I mean, Houston, it was in the 5th inning where he let, what did he do? There was an error that let some runs in, but overall, I mean, I don't know if that's an addition that's going to pay off for this team. He really just has looked like he doesn't have SEC level stuff for a guy who's probably going to be he was supposed to be a high leverage guy. He was supposed to, this isn't a guy you're bringing in to go 4 innings in the middle of a game. This is, come in a big moment, get us a couple outs and go about your day, right? Hagan Banks was the man who allowed those runs against Oregon State in the 9th. Not worried about him. He has proven he can play at this level. I think Caden Humphrey will be the closer of this team. That's one of my takeaways from the weekend. He came in, got 2 outs, got the hold in the 8th inning. He didn't get to go for the 9th, partly because he's recovering from injury still. But the North Florida transfer, he's got good stuff, man. Hagan Banks struggled. Steckmesser struggled. Austin Morris struggled. Yeah, there are just a bunch of names across the board who you see the talent, but you haven't quite seen the results yet. Matty Heiberger had himself a very, very good outing against Oregon State, coming in. I think he ended up at 2.2 scoreless innings, if I'm not mistaken. Like he's been good. He's a guy. He's probably your best middle reliever on the team. But yeah, Keith, you have a right to be a little underwhelmed with the pitching, and we knew it was going to be a struggle coming in, and it has certainly been that. And it is like the more time passes, and we're still so early in the season, but I don't think we're much closer to resolving the issue than we were 2.5 weeks ago.
All right, so let's spin this forward and start to land the plane for the day, because you've got 1 week. This is the last week of non-conference action before you start to play Kentucky. You got Jacksonville State, you've got Alabama State, and a 3-game set with North Florida. We took your temperature on Friday before the Frisco Classic of this team. It sounds like they had a strong enough weekend to where you're a couple degrees hotter, you're a couple degrees more favorable for this team. How are you feeling about Alabama as they are 1 week away from entering SEC play?
Yeah, I'd say overall, I feel better than I did coming in. And a big part of that is Tyler Fay actually looked like a Friday night guy for the first time this season. He had a solid outing against Rhode Island. He was lights out against Iowa. You looked at the stuff he was throwing. He hit 97, which is, that is a guy with legit big level stuff. Zane Adams gave up his first kind of rough stretch of the season, giving up a couple runs against Oregon State, but he's shown enough where you're not super worried. And Miles Upchurch got into some trouble for the first time, and it was bound to happen. I'd rather it happen now than later in the year. But just across the board, he was still striking out guys at a crazy rate. Miles Upchurch, I almost feel a little better about now that he's gotten into some trouble, right? Now that we've seen, he's human. He's had to fight with some stuff, and he is going to be a guy who you can go into a rubber match on a Sunday on the road against an SEC program. It could be as early as the opening series against Kentucky. And you kind of have some faith that Upchurch will help you compete. So I'd say overall, I feel a lot better about the starters. I also think, just to give one other quick note, Eric Hines will be the starting left fielder full-time by the end of this month. I'm starting to fade on Justin Osterhaus. We're kind of past the point of a traditional slump, right? Like he's struggling.
Is the man going to go back to third base? Isn't that Jason Torres?
Well, that's the thing. Like Torres is frankly somebody that you need to be able to play every day at third or first. The thing is, Luke Vaughn has come in at first base and has been one of your best 3 hitters of the season. So Luke Vaughn has kind of closed the window, I guess, for Osterhaus to play at third. You could technically DH Luke Vaughn, which I think will happen once in a while, but then you got Andrew Purdy and John Lem, who've both done some real nice things at DH. So I think Osterhaus will be a guy who maybe you can bring him in as a pinch hitter in big moments, right? He's still got the athleticism, but I think Eric Hines will be an everyday player for this team down the stretch. He hit his first career home run over the weekend. Big moment for the Tuscaloosa product, and I think that he's going to work his way in.
There we go. That's a nice hot take to end the show on. Eric Hines will take over the left fielder's role by the end of the month for the Crimson Tide. Go Patriots right down there on 15th Street. We look forward to watching his career develop. All right, any other baseball thoughts before we wrap this bad boy up?
No, that's it. This should be a nice, easy, uneventful
5-0
week. And giving you some confidence heading into the
There we go. So make sure you're following Theo Fernandez at Theo Fernandez _ as he's bringing you all the baseball coverage at BamaCentral.com. You can see it right there. Tuesday night against Jacksonville State, and then Wednesday night it'll be against Alabama State. So Tuesday at 4, Wednesday at 6, and then you have the traditional 3-game set right here in Tuscaloosa against North Florida. Friday at 6, Saturday at 2, and Sunday at 1. So we will keep our eyes on that. We'll keep our eyes on Alabama basketball and softball as well. We'll bring Katie on. We'll see if Katie's busy this week. We'll see if we can get her on to talk some softball.
20-0.
Hey, great start. Great start for those ladies. Not really high level competition this weekend, but still nice to keep the momentum rolling. So we'll bring Katie on. We'll try to get her on this week to talk about Alabama softball. What we will do today, the rest of the day, is 12:30 press conference with Nate Oates. He's going to talk about the Georgia Bulldogs' last road trip of the season for the Crimson Tide, last real actual hostile environment. The rest of it will be home in Coleman Coliseum or neutral courts for the SEC tournament and NCAA tournament. So we'll talk about the Georgia Bulldogs with Nate Oates at 12:30. You can see that on the BamaCentral YouTube channel. So we encourage you to subscribe to the YouTube channel for all those press conferences and behind the scenes coverage. We've had a lot of fun today. We'll talk about the NFL Combine tomorrow. That's what we'll do. We'll talk about the NFL Combine tomorrow, talk about the times, who made themselves some money, who might have cost themselves some money, all that and more. We'll do it tomorrow right here on the Joe Gaither Show on BamaCentral, BamaCentral.com.